From LALATE News headquarters in Santa Monica, this is Mornings LALATE.
It's a big morning of Mornings LALATE with your fourth stimulus check update of 2022. And those four stimulus checks have landed. I'll go over how to get those four stimulus checks in your hands. Those MSC checks from third stimulus have landed as well. I'll go over how to get those big MSC checks in your hand as well. The Purple Hawks cleaning up. Plus, we'll be going over the latest details as the President of the United States lands in Brussels. This is huge because for the next 2 days, they'll be talking about, yes, your sixth stimulus package, happening at the same time as that third and fourth checks that are landing this week. Then we'll be looking at the Build Back Better Act. What's going on with that? Major breaking developing details about the CR overnight. I have the latest on that and SS300, what Jay Powell said this last 24 hours, sending a potential monkey wrench in SS300. I'll take the wax and get that monkey wrench out of there and get us to the finish line. I'll explain the details on that big SS300. Then we'll be looking at what's going on with those negotiations for everything that involves six stimulus, the biggest stimulus package you ever seen in the history of this channel. But it's a big morning as the toast is toasting, the butter is buttering, and the coffee is brewing. And guess what's also brewing? Four stimulus checks landing in members' hands. I'll have the latest details on that in this live broadcast of Santa Monica, California. Plus, those MSC checks landing in people's hands from third stimulus. It's third stimulus MSC. We have a lot of money in today's recording, a lot of breaking news across the landscape, and a preview of tonight's Evenings LALATE in prime time, a major show tonight with the latest from Brussels. Plus, at the end of this video, stay at the very end, I have a personal commentary as I joke up there about all these big checks landing today. It's a huge recording from the shores of Santa Monica to the shores of the Black Sea. We'll be looking at what Odessa is doing right now as Vladimir Putin is making the aggression and the advance upon Odessa. What does it mean for your money going forward? Boy, it's a big broadcast, and the excitement starts right now with the toast toasting, the butter buttering, and the mornings is brewing starting right now. And good morning, everybody. I hope you're having a beautiful day, and the sea is gorgeous across the Black Sea, but it's not so gorgeous when you're unsure about economic advances and Vladimir Putin trying to throw us into an economic recession. I'll go to the latest details of that six stimulus heating up in the second half of this video. Plus, Jay Powell, your head of the Federal Reserve, trying to come in with another push for bringing down inflation. Oh boy, what does that mean for your SS300? All the latest details in today's recording. Plus, we'll be looking at that CR with a new attempt by the White House to get another continuing resolution done. Why? All the breaking details in today's recording. And Build Back Better Act also the big news, as those third stimulus MSC checks have landed. Fourth stimulus checks have landed as well. Get your pen and paper ready and get your membership newsletter in front of you, because I'm going to go over all these big checks in just a second. But first, we're going to start with the Build Back Better Act that is still going to the finish line. Not a law yet in the Senate. It's the fourth stimulus recon that has three classes of checks and three add-ons. Tonight in prime time on Evenings LALATE at 5 o'clock Pacific, 8 Eastern, we'll go over each of those checks. But here's a preview of tonight's broadcast. $15,000 to $80,000 of checks. If that number sounds familiar, yeah, remember it, because it's coming up later in this video. And they have three classes and three add-ons. In that first class are hazard pay, $4,000 of elder care, $4,000 of care for young children, the CTC, one more year, $3,600, $550 check for the Pell Grant recipients, college students, and $12,500 for the purchase of a new electric vehicle. Then they got home repairs if you live in a low-income community, plus nutrition as well. The first add-on of checks comes from Maxine Waters from Southern California. Just a little bit less than $250 billion. This is money for your purchase of your first home given to you at the time of escrow for the federal government. How do you get these big checks? Tune in tonight's broadcast in the Evenings LALATE in prime time, 5 Pacific, 8 Eastern, 7 Central. We're going to go over all these checks in detail. The second cluster checks home repairs and paid leave. Paid leave is a lot, folks. $4,000 to $6,000, W-2, 1099, all featured tonight in prime time. Then, $250 billion of free home health care for seniors and people on disabilities. Yes, huge. And then we turn to that third cluster checks, deliciousness. Free internet for all checks, farmers checks, independent contractors checks, and then seniors getting lots of checks between the House and the Senate. What are they getting in there? They're getting in there dental, vision, lowering the eligibility age of Medicare from 65 to potentially 55, the Medicaid gap fix. They'll provide insurance to 12 Republican holdout states, a worker plan in there as well. And then hearing, yes, dental, vision, and hearing, which is par for the course when we're talking about adding checks to this to this Fourth Stimulus Recon, Build Back Better. The other checks that they had to add in there are IRS Fourth Stimulus MSC checks. Yes, these are incredible. Now, these are Fourth Stimulus MSC checks that would come out from IRS. These are different than the third MSC checks, third stimulus MSC checks, which viewers got this week. They're coming up later in this video. So who would get these MSC checks under the Build Back Better Act fourth? You would get it if you got a third single individual, $75,000 less. You get it. Married couple, $150,000 less, double it. Family 4, quadruple it. And if you're on benefits, SSI, SSDI, you get as well. Learn about how you get these checks in prime time on Evenings LA tonight. But here's a preview. The legislators represent they would give you 6 checks, $2,000 the first month, $1,000 thereafter. Later in this broadcast, boy, are you ready for this exciting news? Later in this broadcast, we're going to go over those third, not fourth, third stimulus checks that the viewers of this channel have now gotten, and you can get it as well. And it's not, folks, 6 checks. It's 12 checks, $2,000 a pop on average. Some viewers getting 4 years of checks, 8 months of checks, 10 months of checks, sometimes more than $2,000. It's third stimulus MSC checks. It's coming up later in this video. Plus, those 4 stimulus checks, they've now landed. Third and fourth have now landed. I'll go over the latest details coming up later in this video. Get your pen and paper ready. But first, let's take a step back and look at that CR. Yeah, a new twist on the CR. The continuing resolution, remember, was passed by Congress no less than about 3 weeks ago. Did not get a $2,000 stimulus check in there, but got county stimulus in there. I don't cover county or state stimulus on this channel, so reach out to your county to learn about it. Every county is different. But there's a new wrinkle, and the new wrinkle is called the Omicron subvariant. Joe Biden got it right again. Why? Because he had said, I want some money in this CR for COVID, and they gave him nothing. Then 2 weeks ago, he said he's coming back with another CR, another spending bill for money for COVID. He got it right, because guess what? This Omicron subvariant, which originated overseas, is now here, and it's very, very serious. In fact, we now have one of the vaccine manufacturers pushing to get that second booster approved right away. The fourth boost, the 4 shots, is very important. I'm getting my 4th shot. What's at issue is that a new report today says that this subvariant of Omicron is sending parts of China into major lockdown. Number 1. Number 2, could go wild, is the quote, in Europe. So Joe got it right. He wants to come back with another CR. And if he does, then there's potential room to get a $2,000 stimulus check on that in there. We'll be watching that over the next few days. Now, here's what you need to know. Is that CR2 and 3.0, yes, still in the works, passed by the House, coming to merge in the Senate. No inherent timeline for that. But the other item that does have a big inherent timeline is that SS300. SS300 was a Joe Biden promise for president, for running for president, and then in his platform as president at joebiden.com to raise your benefits up by swapping COLA for inflation. COLA is a benchmark that doesn't move. Inflation is high, all-time high of a generation. 8% in December. I predicted it all last year when Jay Powell historically got it very wrong. Your head of the Federal Reserve said that inflation would be transitory. That horrible word I hate. It's a fancy word for temporary. And he said it was going to be 1 to 2%. He got it very wrong. It came in at 8%. And I said it was not going to be 1, and I said it was not going to be transitory. I was right. It came in at 8% in December, 8% in January. And the bond traders right now trading up the 10-year Treasury note all those last 7 days to to numbers we haven't seen in many, many, many years. They think it's even higher. So what is Jay Powell doing, and what is at issue for your benefits? You want Joe Biden to make that swap from coal into inflation right now when it's at the highest price point inflation of a generation, 8%. Because if they made the swap right now, you get $200 more per month. Not just this month, not just this year, a generation, because once your benefits go up, they never go down. Here's the equation. Jay Powell has to reduce inflation. That's part of his job. And how does he do it? He raises interest rates. Now, less than a week ago, I said I'm fine with March if Joe makes a swap now. I'm fine with early April. But I'm not fine with late April because I'm a little bit skittish, because by then, inflation may be 6%. It may come down then. Well, what happened this week? And what happened last week? Last week, Jay Powell announced that the FOMC meeting interest rate spike would be a quarter basis point. No surprise. What Jay Powell has is a box of tools, and the box of tools is meetings of the FOMC once a month, the Fed governors, and raising interest rates, either quarter, which is 25, or half, which is 50 basis points. They met last week, and they did exactly as he promised the month before, 25 basis point. Good. We're fine for Joe swapping out in the month of March or April. And then Jay said we're going to do 175 basis points over the next 6 meetings. So it means 6 interest rate spikes quarter. I'm still fine with that. What part of that was I not happy with last week? He said I want to reduce inflation down to 1% by the end of the year. Oh boy, we had always heard 4%. 4% is another $100 later this year. That's SS 300, not SS 200. Because by the end of the year, 4% would give you another $100 lift. Why? Because your benefits gets reassessed every December. So what did Jay Powell said last week? He said he wants to get down inflation to 1.9%. Oh no, Joe, that's not good. That means that another $50 at the end of the year. That's SS 250, not SS 300. So that was where we were by the end of the week. And what happened the last 24 hours? Jay Powell said some comments. I'm going to say the comments, and then I'm going to analyze them for you. He said that he thinks that inflation may be tracking a little too hot, and so he may need to be, not will, but may need to be a little bit more aggressive with 50 basis point in the next 2 or so meetings. Oh boy, this comes after Wallace and Bullard said the same in the days before. They said, I don't like what happened last week. Let's look at the situation. You have 2 choices, hard landing, soft landing. Hard landing is like hitting with a hammer, saying, I want to come in really aggressive with that inflation, hit it down really hard on the front end. Most people don't think it works that way. I don't think it works. Wall Street doesn't think it works. And guess what? That's what Jay Powell didn't think it works. Other people want a soft landing. That's what I want. That's what Jay wants. That's not what Wallace and Bullard or Wall Street wants. That's what Wall Street does want. Soft landing is where you come in and ease into a lower inflation rate. Why do you want soft landing? Because if you hit too hard, you throw our economy into stagflation. You hit too far, you stunk economic growth in the United States. So what is my analysis of what Jay Powell said in the last 24 hours? Am I worried? No. I still think we're fine with Joe making the swap from now through late April. Early May, I don't know. I'll tell you why. I think that Wall Street got it right. Wall Street reacted nothing to the news this week or last week. Why? Because they think what I'm thinking. Jay Powell does not have the tools. He does not have the tools to reduce inflation. Why not? He is basically understanding that inflation is caused by supply chain. China and Russia supply chain can't get the products delivered. And he can't fix that by hitting inflation with a hammer or massaging it with a cool, wet cloth. It don't work. And guess what? If that's the case, then we're fine till late April. Hashtag Joe make the call. Joe make the call to the Social Security Administrator. Swamp out that color for inflation now. We're good if he makes the phone call now, and I think we're good for early April. And I'm telling you right now that I don't think Jay Powell has the tools to reduce inflation like he thinks he does. And I think he's going to change because he's got it wrong before, and I think he has it wrong again today. So that's the situation on that front. Now, what do you need to know? The incredible great news is that the membership of this channel has absolutely done an incredible great job. Third stimulus MSC checks have now landed in their hands. And the second half of this video, I will show you how to get these third MSC checks. If you remember this channel, open the newsletter. If you're not, become a member and at least get a pen and paper ready. You want to take notes on this. Then we're going to go over those fourth stimulus big checks that have landed. Yes, let's take it back a notch. Build Back Better Act, not law. This is law. The President of the United States, 3 weeks ago, this Friday, 4 weeks ago, announcing a program that sends out these checks. And the huge news is that viewership of this channel has got to the checks, like they've got to the MSC checks. I'm going to show you how to get it. It's $80,000 of checks for stimulus, and the MSC checks, it's upwards of 12 months at $2,000 a pop. Actually, it's not upwards. It averages at 12 months. Many viewers have gotten 4 years of these MSC checks. It's astronomical. We got all that coming up in the second half of this video. Then we're going over to Brussels. I mean, we're not leaving to go to Brussels. We're cutting over to cover Brussels. Why? Because that's where your sixth stimulus is. 6th, 3rd, and 4th will all be happening at the same time, potentially by early as April. All the latest details on that and what you need to know. It's caused by Putin, and it's to keep us out of recession. Oil, wheat, grain, and also commodity problems, plus the banking industry and potential default by Vladimir Putin if he can't meet $2 billion of principal repayment on April 4th. I have all these incredible details coming up in the second half of this video, but first, if you haven't become a member, go to the top of the chat or under the video and become a member. See you back in 60 seconds with all these big third stimulus MSC checks and fourth stimulus checks. Take notes. I want you to get all these items. But first, here's a little bit about the members community page. If you need assistance and you're a member, reach out to the community page. They're there to help you. I'll see you back in 60 seconds, and here's a little bit about them.
If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.lalate.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on Mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE.
And the excitement continues. And a big live broadcast on the shores of Santa Monica, California. It's Mornings LA with incredible great news as those third stimulus MSC checks have landed. Wow, I'll go over how to get them in the second half of this video. Then fourth stimulus checks have landed as well. Huge, upwards of $80,000. Then we'll be looking at the situation unfolding in Brussels. Sixth stimulus heating up. It's Putin-caused stimulus. We'll go over what you need to know. It starts today because the President of the United States lands today. And we'll be there today, tomorrow, and then heading off to Poland. It's a live broadcast of Mornings LA for March 23rd, 2022. And first, we're going to start with the incredible great news about those fourth stimulus checks. Fourth stimulus checks have landed in members' hands this week, and it's absolutely astronomical, with the rest of the memberships now getting notification that their applications are approved and the funds are on their way. Let's go over the details of this. And when did it start? It started 3 weeks ago, this Friday, 4 weeks ago, when the President of the United States quietly in a press release announced an incredible grant program. It was not covered in broadcast, print, or anywhere else. In fact, it was a buried news story, but I found it and I immediately delivered it to the membership in the newsletter. It's called the Homeowners Grant, at least on this channel, but it has a longer name. and it pays $15,000 to $80,000. So let's go over the broad details, and then we'll go over the specifics. $15,000 to $80,000 of stimulus checks. And viewers of this channel have gotten it, like Mark, who got over $66,000 this week. And countless other viewers who've gotten notifications, their applications are complete, and they are going to get funded. The great news is that the eligibility is the same as a third stimulus check. Single individual, $75,000 less, you can get it. Married couple, $150,000 less, you can get it. It is not doubled or tripled, it's per household. And it also pays to beneficiaries, SSI, SSDI, Social Security or Railroad benefits or veterans benefits. So what do you need to get it? You have to be within that income qualification and a homeowner. Now, if you're a renter, stay with me because I got you third stimulus MSC checks, which are also for homeowners as well. Yeah, there's an overlap. So let's go over the incredible details of this homeowners grant. First, you want to become a member. At the top of the chat or under the pinned comment, get that membership newsletter delivered Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time via the YouTube alert system. Once you get the membership newsletter, you open it up. And then under the wheat, grain, corn, gasoline prices of the day, and also the price of the pump, then it goes right into the complete name of the grant. It's longer than the homeowner's grant. That's a shortened name for the purpose of this recording. Under there, income qualification, which is just went over. Then it goes over the incredible money you can use this money for in your home, like home repairs, property taxes, and more. It's absolutely incredible. Then it shows you the link that goes right into online apply immediately. First going to the national routing site and then into your state routing site. Then it also goes over everything you need to know about the program to make sure you pounce. Now, I first detailed for the membership on this channel the very hour it was announced by the White House. It went live that following Monday. So it's now been live for about 3 weeks. Here's what you need to know. 1, it is nationwide. Number 2, it's not unlimited funds. So every day that passes, thousands of people in your state apply in front of you. Do not wait to apply. If you're not a member, do not wait to become a member and do not wait to apply. Number 3, it went live in every single state, and every single state will have the money. But, for example, we're learning now that in the state of New York, they got too many applications. They are now on waiting list. Elsewhere, that's not the case. So I'm just using New York. I want you to know everywhere else you get your application on file. So what do? This is what you do. You become a member, you get that incredible newsletter, you go down the newsletter, then you see the link. You click the link, you go right in and apply. When does that newsletter come? Monday through Friday via the YouTube alerts, not by email, not by LALATE alert, not by waveable check or lobster dance. It comes via the YouTube alert system. To members, paying members Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, which is 10 o'clock on the East Coast. Open that membership newsletter and apply right away. And congratulations. Countless members of this channel have gotten that application on file. You don't want to wait because this is the true spirit of this channel. Purple Hawks pouncing. Purple Hawks pouncing means that when some money comes live, you get it right away because it's not unlimited funds. We've done this over countless programs, whether it was EIDL grants, PUA, EIDL loans. The money went live. It was gone. You can't wait around. You have to get it right away. All right, let's then go to the big money for those MSC checks. Now, let's take a step back before we continue because I want to separate this all out. This for stimulus checks, the $15,000 to $80,000 we just went over, is an add-on. It's not Build Back. It's Build Back Act is a bill, not law, going through the halls of Congress. This for stimulus add-on was done by Joe Biden, is law. So we don't need a vote for it. It's done. The check's out. The checks have been cashed. The people have the checks. Joe sent the checks out. People have the checks. It's not like they're waiting for the checks. They actually have them in their hands. That's the for stimulus $15,000 to $80,000 homeowners grant. Now, when we turn to third stimulus, we're going back in time. Third stimulus was passed in January of 2021. But out of nowhere, the membership of this channel listened, applied the information, and suddenly have gone from here to there getting monthly stimulus checks from the third stimulus package. Let's explain. Build Back Better, again, fourth stimulus, talks about the addition of potential IRS sent monthly stimulus checks. That's a bill. It's not law. That's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about third stimulus monthly stimulus checks that have gone out and are part of existing law. Huge. For this, you need a pen. You need a piece of paper and you need a phone. This is not something you need to stand and look at because you'll get nothing. You actually have to use that pen, paper, take notes, or if you're a member, open the membership newsletter. What do? You're going to reach out to get this money, and it's available across the country. And it is rent, utilities, and mortgage assistance and homeowner assistance. Yes, here's the overlap. Third stimulus MSC checks are for renters and for homeowners. The fourth stimulus we just went over is just for homeowners. So there's the overlap. Can you get both? Absolutely. So let's go over the examples. And let me tell you where this came from. It's just a surprise. There's always surprises on this channel. It came out of nowhere. In December 2020, when we were in the thick of the pandemic, I needed to get people money. And I found that I can get them rent and utilities. There wasn't a lot of it. But at the time, I had a preview, an exclusive preview, of a new body of legislation. I coined the phrase third stimulus, coming the next year in 2021. I said, I want to train you how to get this money because when third stimulus becomes law, I want you to know how to do it. It became law. And I said, I can get you about $15,000 from this. Viewers got on average $45,000. They got more than I had said they can get. But at the time, I said, get 3 to 4 months of rent for spring 2021. Then that summer, I said, get another round. They did, 3 or 4 months. Last Christmas stimulus, 3 or 4 months, round. What happened the last 2 weeks? What happened the last 2 weeks? The viewership of this channel went from a bachelor degree to PhD in this because guess what? Suddenly they said, who needs rounds? Why does LA keep on saying 3 or 4 months of rounds? I'll just get the whole year. I'll just get 2 years. I'll get 4 years. Why not 4 years? I'm not joking. One viewer got 4 years of monthly stimulus checks. You'll see her tonight on Evenings LA in prime time. Here are the success stories in the last 2 weeks. Every viewer, one after another, giving me incredible warming stories. Lindsay Ramirez getting 12 months of monthly $1,500 stimulus checks. Let's recap. We just talked about Build Back Better, which is not a law. That would be 6 checks. She's getting 12. That was going to be $1,000 after the first month. She's getting $1,500. So they're doing better, these viewers, members, than fourth stimulus was ever proposing to do, which will still happen. Here's Lindsay. She's getting 2 checks per month. The rent check is $1,000 and the utilities is $500. So that's 12 months across the board. We have Olivia Summers. You'll see her on Evenings LA. She got 4 years of checks. Did you digest that? 4 years of checks at $150,000. Yeah. We have David Allen, a member of 9 months, getting $1,500 a month. Incredible. That's more than Build Back Better. Mr. Bean getting $16,000 over 9 months of checks. We have Annabelle who got 6 months this last week. We have the incredible Michelle Mortesi who got a couple months. Then we have more viewers days earlier. On March 15th, we had Johnny Horvathan who got $26,000 of these checks and monthly checks, which amounts to about 8 months. Then we had Brian Graves on the 14th of March getting from Toledo, Ohio. Hello, Toledo. Getting 8 months. Absolutely incredible. We had Simba who got about $6,000. Then we had, which was March 12th. We had Melly Pin who got $10,000 on March 9th, which is about 8 months. And we had a lot of other people like Tim Hasadesi, if I can say that right. I always say it wrong. And we had Brian Donahue who got 5 months. And Karen Joseph who got $22,000. Yeah, that's more than just a few months, folks, there. Success story after another. So what do? Open that membership newsletter. If you're not, you can do it yourself. Get that pen and paper ready. I'm going to slow it down, so make sure you take notes. You're going to reach out to a series of places to get these big sums of money. And what's important to know is that there is no push a button and you get paid a big wad of money. There's no online application for one button. You're going to have to make multiple phone calls to get these sums of money, and you'll get them. So this is different than forced stimulus, what we just went over, where you push a button, you fill out some stuff, and you get paid. This involves a little more of an effort. And the great sums of money are absolutely incredible. So where do you get these big sums of money? You're going to reach out to a series of places across the country. They're there, and here we go. You're going to reach out to your city hall, your city house authority, your county hall, and your county house authority. And the keywords you're going to say are rent assistance because of COVID, mortgage, or utility assistance because of COVID. You must reach out to all 6 places. Let's stop it right there. The graphic just said you must reach out to all 6 places. So if you reach out to one and stop, that's not how you do it. Let's talk about that issue right now. When we talk about those multiple places, you need to reach out to multiple. We used to feature on this channel a lot Johnny, who made 15 phone calls and got 8 programs approved and $80,000. If you make 1 call and get a no and you stop, that's not how it's done. Here's what you need to know. Between this video, I'm showing you 6 places, and then if you're a member, I'm showing you 5+ more places, about 21 places. Excuse me, did I do the math wrong? I did do that math wrong. I give you, yeah, I did do that math. I'll give you upwards of about a dozen places to get those to get this money from. So you want to reach out to all of them. You're going to get about 50% rejection rate. 50% rejection rate is good because Johnny got about a 50% rejection rate. Reached out to about 15 places, got 8 places approved. That's how he got the big sums of money. So what's important to understand is that a no is good. A no is good. It means you're working. It means you're doing the effort. And that ultimately, when you add up your yeses, boy, folks, you're going to be very, very happy. Do multiple rounds? No. This is where it changed in the last 2 weeks because now viewers are not doing multiple rounds. They're just getting 12 months of checks. They're like, hey, I want monthly for 12 months. So absolutely go and push and get it. Open that membership newsletter because guess what? It features all the 6 places plus the additional nonprofits. Yeah, those additional nonprofits pick up the money in states where you may have run into certain, resistance. For example, I had a nice person in Louisiana last night on one of the shows saying, hey, I'm having problems in Louisiana. That is where the nonprofits are really good. So get that membership newsletter. Next, I want you to rely on the nonprofits. They're in the membership newsletter because they can provide those items. And they also do other items like nominal home repairs, broken windows, nominal home repairs. They're incredible. And get this big sum of money. Pounce right now. The average viewer of this channel is getting $45,000. You don't want to wait across the board. Get this big sums of money right now. It is all for you. Do not wait. And congratulations to all the incredible viewers of this channel who have gotten this big sums of money across the board. The President of the United States landing in Brussels right now for a 2-day meeting with those world leaders, the Western Alliance. And it's for what? 6 stimulus. But I'll explain to you why 6 stimulus is the biggest stimulus package you've ever seen in the history of this channel. First, when would it happen? It's going to overlap with 3rd and 4th. New to this channel, let me explain. Stimulus packages do not work one, stop, start another one, stop. They overlap. They always do. And the way I number on this channel is one after another. This is 6 stimulus, of course, the name I'm giving it. Now, let me clarify. When the president meets, the leader of Hungary, hi, how's your 6 stimulus package? That's not the way they talk. They talk a little bit differently. They do not have a surfboard in their studio. So they talk a little bit differently. Are they going to say 6 stimulus package? No. Are they going to say MSC? They're going to say, what is that? Multiple cappuccinos? I think Sir Loin visited our country once. That's how we know what that means. But otherwise, no, they do not know what that means. That's not the way they're going to talk. Moreover, I want to go over who's talking about this because this is very, very, very important. The president is meeting with several different groups, and they're not all there to talk about 6 stimulus packages. The only one I want to focus on is France, Germany, and the United States. Why? The trifecta of progressiveness. They've already been talking about this for several weeks. Let's take it back to understand the history of 6 stimulus. The history of 6 stimulus started when your Secretary of State, Anthony Blinken, met with those trifecta and said, you know what, you need to get off of Russian products. They said, we can't. We're too dependent upon it. He said, there's a moral obligation. They said, you're right. But here's the problem, is that we don't have something lined up. And if we get off of them, we're going into recession. They all 3 of them agreed the way they do this is debt spend and give stimulus to their citizens. Let's go over why. That if you get off of Russian products, guess what? You can't afford $5 at the pump. You go into recession. You can't afford a $6 loaf of bread. You go into recession. And with that, that is why they are doing this debt spending and sending out the stimulus. What's that key date? The key date is early April. Why? Because we're watching what happens in France. Germany has Chancellor progressive. United States, Joe Biden progressive. But France, his progressive leader, Macron, up for re-election in early April. So if the trifecta gets all their partners watches Macron approved and reelected in April, then away we go. Now, let me go over part of the equation, what you're seeing starting today and tomorrow in Brussels. The president will be meeting with several different groups, and I don't want them to confuse you, so let me explain what's going on. He's going to be meeting with NATO allies. They're going to talk about stimulus? No, absolutely not. G7 leaders, yes, they're going to be talking about economic issues. Then, European Union leaders, yes. Now, here's what you need to know. Do I worry or am concerned what the European Union says? Absolutely not. We're not part of the European Union. Or the G7? No, because this is part of the trifecta. How do I know this? Why? I'll tell you why. In the last 24 hours, Hungary's leader said, get off of Russian products. I'm not doing that. I'll veto anything you do with that. Yeah, he actually said that. He's very hungry. So, yeah. So what I want you to understand is if you hear someone like a leader of Hungary saying, I'm not doing this, don't think your sixth stimulus is imploded. He's not part of your sixth stimulus. He's part of these other legions, these other groups that are meeting with Biden. I know it sounds confusing. 2 days, Brussels, the 23rd and 24th, and then off to Poland. So let's go over why sixth stimulus is needed. It's very, very important. It's needed because you cannot sustain certain economic levels in the United States. You cannot afford $6 a gallon at the pump in Los Angeles. If you're on live chat, post what you're paying for gasoline right now. You cannot afford $6 a loaf in bread, which is where we're heading. You cannot see your bank go into default, which is potentially on the horizon if it gets worse. So let's go over a part of the equation. The first part, of course, is that oil. The oil had a deal, and that deal was announced on this channel one Friday ago. The United States has done a deal with Iran, and that Iranian oil will now flood our markets as early as April or May with 500,000 barrels a day. You heard me right, 500,000 barrels a day, growing to 1.3 million barrels by December. What does that equate to? It'll bring our price of gasoline down to its lowest level of a generation. It was part of a major deal that took 15 years in the making to disarm Iranian nuclear warheads and then get their oil back into our circulation, our partner allies' circulation. This is oil that is really needed. It'll fund our partner allies where Germany, where they're dependent upon Russian oil so dramatically, in some cases nearly 60, 80%, that Vladimir Putin could take advantage of it. How? He's actually said, you push me too far, Germany, I'm turning off your oil. In the case of Germany, they have their own pipeline from Russia to Germany. Very scary. So that's why that oil deal was needed, number one. Number two, there's a big problem with the price of wheat. You don't want to pay $7 for a loaf of bread. Well, no one else does. And that could send us in a recession. And an issue is the crown jewel of the Black Sea, Odessa, which you're looking at right now, the Opera House. Vladimir Putin is trying to take down Odessa. I've been featuring Odessa on this channel for 3 weeks. Guess what? He's already disrupted our economy. Why? Because while we have farmers in the United States, we can't grow all the wheat for the world economies, like Egypt that gets 80% of their wheat from where else? Yeah, Ukraine and Russia. And now those farmers can't deliver the wheat because they're fighting a war. They can't deliver next season because they're fighting a war. And that is why you need sixth stimulus. Otherwise, we go into recession. Then what's the last part of the equation? The last part of the equation is China and Russia and default and the supply chain. First, China has signaled that it will not represent or guarantee it won't give money to Russia. Russia's asked money from China to offset our sanctions. Oh, boy. And if China does give a penny, they're getting sanctioned as well. And that would send us into recession because we would not have those Chinese products. On the other side of the equation is the big problem with Vladimir Putin. April 4th, $2 billion, debt repayment, principal. He's not going to make it. He made the $100 million of interest last week. This is bigger. And if he doesn't make it, guess what happens? Big problems. His economy is already falling from 10th largest in the globe to now a Cuba. And he's likely to get worse. Why? Because he can't access his cash. And guess what? If our U.S. banks have any investment in Russian bonds or equities, which they do, we don't know how big, they're going to report big corporate losses on those corporate earnings reports on Q2, Q3 this year. Guess what? Local banks that could do business with your major banks could be in major trouble, potentially go under. That is why Joe Biden will do the sixth stimulus package, because guess what? He's done this before. Day one as vice president, when him and Obama came in to save the banking industry. This is why sixth stimulus is happening. Huge details across the board. Finally, my commentary. and those other checks across the board. I'm so excited, and I really want to applaud the membership of this channel and the viewership of this channel who have done so well in the last few weeks. 3 weeks ago, this Friday, 4 weeks ago, I announced this $80,000 of forced stimulus checks. That was law. Surprised everyone. Surprised me. Build Back Better, not law. This was law. And the membership of this channel understood, and the viewership of this channel understood. First comes, first serve. It's not going to be there forever. Pounce, Purple Hawks, pounce. They did. Members have gotten their checks, viewers have gotten their checks, and the rest have gotten their applications complete with confirmation the checks are on their way. Absolutely an astronomical, wonderful achievement. $15,000 to $80,000, but hovering towards the $80,000. When we look at that third stimulus, absolutely incredible. Nothing I told anyone to do. I was just educating people about how to do it around a third stimulus, 4 to 6 months. But what do the viewers do? One after another. Hundreds and hundreds of them got in 8 months, 10 months, 12, a year and a half, 2 years, 4 years of these monies. Far more than a 6 months of checks. These are people on benefits, SSI and SSDI. These are people who rent. These are homeowners. These are people on fixed income. These are all different people across the board. Pouncing and getting these big sums of money. I applaud you. Now, in the same regards, I understand where things need to be futzed with, or fixed, or modified, or tweaked, or twerked. No, not twerked, tweaked. And that is what happened overnight. Overnight, I saw, or actually it started about a week ago, I saw really an element I did not like. And the element I did not like needed some tweaking. So the community page is now for members only. Why? Because I saw a series of things happening I did not like. And certain things I can tolerate, but certain things I cannot. First, people were in the live chat bad-mouthing the volunteers. Atrocious. Absolutely atrocious. The volunteers are heart of the souls of the earth. Wonderful, charming individuals who volunteer their time, coming off of work and then sitting down at night, going through your messages to help you. And what happened the last 2 weeks? 1, non-members faking themselves as members. 2, people harassing the volunteers. Number 3, people in the live chat trash-talking the volunteers. Not acceptable. These are people who help people. Now, I know when things need to be modified and when they need to be fixed. I've seen it before. Back at the very beginning of this channel, I did the EIDL grant and loan questions privately, myself, in the middle of the night with the viewers at the time. Then there were too many viewers, so I got a volunteer, another viewer. Then it got even bigger, so I got 6 or 7 EIDL volunteers at the time. What happened? There was a time in which there was one person, actually not one person, a few people, who are going from volunteer to volunteer saying, I need help getting that EIDL grant. Here's my business. And the viewer said, and the volunteer said, where's your business? And the person says, I don't have a business. What do you mean you don't have a business? This is a business grant. Well, I don't have a business. I need the money. And what that person did was went from one volunteer to another volunteer to another volunteer. And that was unacceptable. So we switched it out. Then, right after that, I had a time in which we did have volunteers for unemployment assistance. Guess what? We had some people reach out to the volunteers and ask the volunteers to do the application for them. No, volunteers are not going to do your unemployment application for you. Come off of it. So, in recent days, we've had an element where people really took it out to a level it's unacceptable, with a tone, with an element of disrespect to the people who are only here to help. So as a result, for now, the membership is open for the community page is open to members. And with that, I thank and applaud all the incredible viewers, both members and non-members, who have gotten these MSC third stimulus checks in recent days, have gotten these big fourth stimulus checks from the $80,000 homeowners grant. And I congratulate and thank the community volunteers for all their incredible work throughout all these days. Coming up next is a special edition of Home LALATE. If you did not watch it before, you want to watch it. It's a special recording in which I go over the importance of listening and learning. Case in point, MSC, that third stimulus check. I just went over with that graphic. Remember the graphic with the woman walking the street and the girl on the park bench and then the girl on the phone? I say you need to reach out to these different places. In the last 24 hours, a couple people keep on saying, where is the application, the link, the website to get these MSC checks? Where did I say that? I did not say that. You got to really listen carefully to getting all these incredible sums of money. So in that special home edition, guess what I do? I slow it down so to make it even more clear for you across the board. I go through each of these items one at a time very slowly to make sure all your questions are answered. Meantime, join me tonight for Primetime Evenings LA. It's a major recording. We're going to look at the latest details of what's happening with that sixth stimulus as the president lands in Brussels. It's huge. Then, the details with that CR second round as Omicron subvariant strikes the United States and Joe Biden got it right, needs more money for COVID. How we do it is social spending bill. I have the latest details. We'll be looking at Jay Powell and what Wall Street is looking at Jay Powell's 5 meeting spikes, half basis, quarter basis. What is Wall Street looking? Was the bond market? Well, the latest details. And then, of course, all the breaking, developing details of Build Back, your fourth, and your MSC checks. With that, God bless you all. The toast was toasting, the butter buttering, and the coffee brewing, the third MSC checks landing, and those fourth stimulus checks landing as well. The only thing not landing, of course, my bacon. It's a big, bold, beautiful day. From the shores of Santa Monica to the shores of the Black Sea, our hearts and prayers with the people of Ukraine. Coming up next is that Ukraine, I Stand of Ukraine edition, where we analyze all this sums of money and how it's impacted by Vladimir Putin. Stay informed, stay focused, and see you tonight in prime time at 5 o'clock Pacific, 8 o'clock Eastern.